Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And how's everybody doing there? I hope, and we're here from the border of liberty and prosperity in the highway to the north. This is Safety Wars for Friday, June 7th, 2024. It's been a couple of days. We've been running around like maniacs here, trying to get things done. So on one of my projects, I'm working on a project that requires me to be there like 2.5-3 weeks a month. So what ends up happening is I end up the 1 week or 2 weeks a month sometimes when I'm not there, I'm running around like a maniac trying to get things done, trying to fight that safety war for everybody here. And we got stuff at home that gets neglected. Now, it's like a balance you have to have. So, people talk about work-life balance. Right? We need a work-life balance. It's like, are you for real? You know? So what I've realized is that I can never have really a work-life balance. What we could have is a work-life harmony. Well, what do you mean, Jim? Harmony, right? Work-life harmony. It's like that. That's the best I can hope for. And now, just learn to accept it. Anyway, let's go here and we're going to start. We're going to make an attempt to have
This is Safety Wars News. I'm Oliver Rodwisco. Here is the recent Department of Labor and Environmental Protection Agency news from the past week. United States Department of Labor releases May 2024 Employment Situation Report. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the U.S. economy added 272,000 jobs in May 2024, with the unemployment rate steady at 4%. This marks the longest period with unemployment at or below 4% since 1970, indicating robust economic growth. The Department of Labor recovered $157,000 in owed wages and damages for 46 workers from LJ2 Investments LLC, operating as Jasso Express in Pharr, Texas. The company had failed to pay the workers overtime wages. Deere & Company agreed to pay $1 million in back wages and interest to Black and Hispanic job seekers, following allegations of systemic hiring discrimination at its facilities in Illinois and Iowa. Unemployment Insurance Weekly Claims Report. For the week ending June 1st, initial claims for unemployment insurance were 229,000, an increase of 8,000 from the previous week's revised level. The 4-week moving average decreased slightly to 250. Long Branch contractor cited for safety violations. A Long Branch, New Jersey, contractor was cited for 32 violations over 4 months for willfully exposing employees to fall hazards at multiple work sites. The 2024 Iqbal Masih Award for the elimination of child labor was awarded to the Wadi El Nil Association in Egypt and trade unionist Andrews Adekitago in Ghana for their exceptional efforts to end child labor. Federal judge upholds order for crane company to pay terminated truck driver. A federal judge upheld a Department of Labor order requiring a Houston crane company to compensate a truck driver terminated for refusing to violate federal safety rules. money recovered for guest workers. The Department of Labor recovered in excess of $500,000 in wages for 268 H-2A guest workers who were denied full wages and provided with unsafe housing by North Carolina farm labor contractors Becerra Enterprises. New research from the Department of Labor shows that job segregation and pay disparities cost Black women over $42 billion and Hispanic women over $53 billion in wages in 2023. These findings highlight the economic impact of racial and gender wage gaps. The Environmental Protection Agency has announced a significant investment of $5 million to promote cleaner air and reduce pollution by funding new, clean school buses in Texas. This initiative is part of the broader effort under the bipartisan infrastructure law to modernize school bus fleets across the country and improve air quality for students. The Environmental Protection Agency has issued a new set of regulations aimed at improving chemical safety in communities, particularly those near industrial facilities. The new rules focus on enhancing emergency response protocols and reducing the risk of chemical accidents, thereby safeguarding public health and the environment. A collaborative initiative has been launched by the Environmental Protection Agency in partnership with various state and local governments to address climate change impacts more effectively. This initiative includes a comprehensive plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote sustainable practices across different sectors.
Yeah, the other thing that I've been dealing with here is, we're a radio family here, right? I never understood that until I had this show, you hear rhetoric. Thinking it's rhetoric. Oh, we have a radio family. What we do. Basically what I've had to put on hold for the last several years because of family situations and people getting sick, people dying, things of that nature, multiple tragedies here. And I mean, we're all going through this to a certain degree. I know one family that lost all four grandparents in like a month during COVID. So since COVID, things have been bad, but I'm finally getting ahead of things here. I'm finally doing what needs to get done in my personal life, and we keep getting kicked down, but I keep getting back up. As I mentioned I was more or less the motivational speaker for our New City Little League team that my son is on, and they didn't do too hot this year. But as I gave them the speech today, at the end of the year party, I said to him, look, we're, no, you have to be a little bit philosophical here. What's success? How do you get to success? You get to success in many avenues. One of the attributes is grit, willing to work at things, put things off, pleasurable things off until you achieve something. This is why the A students in school, high school especially, often do not amount to anything much. They may have a good job, they may have this and that, but it's the C students that go out there and work hard. Because perseverance is normally what brings back long-term success. It's not that one little league game that you win, you lose, whatever. It's not that doesn't dictate your life. What dictates your life is going out there, putting in the hard work every day, consistently, long term. I have parents thank me for that because we didn't really have a winning season here, but that's a story for another day. And, that's just the way it is. So we're going to move to Safety Wars News with Oliver. I could never figure out how to pronounce his last name. It would be great. It means environment in Polish. So we're back. We're here. I guess, with a program named like Safety Wars, we're not,
Thank you, Oliver. That's what we have.
well, we're forced to when it comes.
What his name is in Polish.
Right.
Anyway.
I don't even know how to go about this. It's very frustrating to me on a certain level. So, a couple years back, when Alex Jones was having issues with, started to have issues, specifically with some of the things he said and how he handled the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting in 2012, right? When that happened, I was getting phone calls from attorneys, from reporters, and everything else. Do you know anything about Alex Jones? Does your program have anything to do with Alex Jones? Does your company have anything to do with Alex Jones? I know, and this went on for like a month, right? So until I just said, look, if you're not a normal person in my sphere of influence, I'm not going to answer the phone. And this died down, and the answer is no. We have nothing to do with Infowars. But today, we have this came across the wires. It's all over the place. No, no. Do I listen to him sometimes? Yeah, I listen to him sometimes. Some of the things, some of the promos that we use here, like this one. Right. So that is inspired by. We have a little bit of fun here and there, but over the last week he's been. I get the feeds over Drudge and everything else. Hey, he's going to be shut down this weekend. So I say, son of a gun, let me tune in. I haven't really listened to him in a long time, maybe 6 months, 8 months. Right, and even then, I listen to him a couple of times a year just to get his thoughts on things, and what it comes down to is this. He is, last Sunday he screamed, my last time on the air. Now we have him announcing today, not him, but on the news wires, allegedly, that his whole operation is being liquidated due to the defamation. That's it. Defamation suit that he lost in 2021. Uh, Basically, what he was doing was allegedly was that he caused damage and emotional harm to the victims' families from the Sandy Hook situation, the 26 first graders and staffers that were murdered there. And I will not mention the murderer's name or the family name. Right, the remaining family members want to be left alone, and we went through this last December with the Morgan family here in my town. Uh, we had a mass shooting in my town. I don't even want to. I don't even. People have mentioned the person's name in passing who committed this, which was the father, and I've said, look, not to mention his name ever again in my presence. Don't want to be a jerk about it, but I was involved with the family in scouting and in Little League. I was the assistant coach of Liam Morgan last year, and not this past season, the season before. So this hits close to home. I don't want to know anything about it, and just people talking around town. Sometimes you get a little bit upset. Now you have a guy who, again, as far as I know, he did not say anything about this. But what happened was he had guests on that made outrageous claims about the shooting, and he would go along with them and not say, you know what, I think you're full of goofno, or something along those lines, and he would go along with them. Now, what has happened and what we have covered on this program throughout over the years is how we are mind bleeped by the media. We are being programmed. I can literally go through multiple stories here, how we're being programmed, how we're being lied to. Do I think that we got the full story on Sandy Hook? Probably not. I'm okay with that, and I don't think it really matters whether we got the full story on it. What happened was, with the whole Sandy Hook thing, was you had news agencies, and believe me, I've gotten wrapped up in this a little bit, who wanted to go and get ahead of the story. We got to be the first. Often on this show, We are the first. On many, many stories, especially when I was broadcasting regularly. Now, we were, on many stories, we were the uh, first ones here. So, for example, when we had a nursing home burned down in the neighborhood, made national news, we were here. We reported that on the Rated R Safety Show with Jay Allen, heard morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We also broke the news on this program and on Jay Allen's Rated R Safety Show on the falsified COVID-19 vaccination cards, which are widely available. We were the ones. We broke the story 2 months ahead of everybody else. So I understand being at the forefront of coverage. I get it. Believe me, I get it. It's great. However, when it comes to a mass casualty event, not always a good idea to be out there in front. Because this is what happened. There were all different kinds of wackadaisical, wackadoodle-doo, screwed up reports of what was going on in the woods around that school. I'm not going to revisit those. I don't even want to, I forget half of them. And then you get people that latch on to it. And what happens? You get a situation what happened to Alex Jones. The way it is. And you're trying to get ratings and everything. Now all of a sudden, you have a problem. It has 1.5 billion problems. Right? That's why you got to be careful. You got to be really wary of the first reports. We mentioned a couple of the reports from here, specifically on the East Palestine situation, and more recently on when I was on the PR podcast, public relations podcast with Jody Fisher. When you have a major event, you got to go out there and you have to have a plan on what you're going to say. The news media has to be responsible for what they're going to say. And because of public relations. And this has been because you're going to have stuff go on. Look at 9/11. I watched 9/11 from my apartment in Hoboken, New Jersey happen. Those two bad things go. But no, and I think something fluky happened there because some of the reports on some of the other buildings that fell down that were not the Twin Towers came on before that actually happened. That's not. I got the VHS tapes over there where there was reports this building's going to collapse, and then all of a sudden we have conspiracy theories going on until today on this crap. 23 years later coming up. So be responsible with your information out there if you're in the media. Don't worry about being the first. Worry about the most accurate first. First person, first organization, most accurate. And the thing is, no, in the short term, getting all these ratings and everything is great. But now look at what the situation Mr. Jones found himself in. A real bad situation. That's what I'm going to say now. We're going to go to commercial break, and we're going to come back with our regular OSHA news, and we'll go from there. And it's Friday, so we're going to use the Friday Hop message.
Your secret decoder ring. Here is your nightly message.
How you respond to failure matters. How you respond to failure matters.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not We'll take some deep dives in some information that you might be interested in.
Okay, so let's go find out how to share screen here. Hold on. And let's go to another commercial.
Consultant Jim Pozell with Safety Wars, Emily Elrod with Unapologetically Bold, and many others. As individuals, we can do great things, but as a team, we become amazing. Dial into safetyfm.com today and surround yourself with a powerful force of knowledge and support.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Pozell, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant, that's Safety Wars. Join a safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
Thank you, honey. That was my wife that narrated that. I thought she did a pretty good job. So we're going to go right here. We are on right now, U.S. Department of Labor website. Here we have federal contractor Deere & Company resolves alleged hiring discrimination. And again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty here. U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs has entered into a conciliation agreement with Deere & Company to resolve alleged systemic hiring discrimination affecting Black and Hispanic applicants at 3 of the global agricultural, construction, and forestry equipment manufacturer production lines in Illinois. I mean, that's, I mean, really? Preliminary findings allege discrimination against 33 Black and 12 Hispanic applicants for warehouse positions in Milan, 36 Black applicants for similar positions in Ankeny, and against 196 Black applicants for production positions in Waterloo. Here we have Department of Labor cites Long Branch contract, and this is like a local one. Now, one thing you're going to notice here with this contractor, I can say this much. Fully immersed in South Jersey. Away from the shore. Here. We got job sites in Freehold, Warrenton, Manalapan, Evesham, Rumson, Mulca Hill, and Manalapan. I mean, these are not... I know New Jersey is a smaller state, but New Jersey is not that small. This is like really spread out. Now, I did a little bit of research here with this contractor here. With this contractor here, all these things are new construction of either warehouses, maybe a strip mall, or really nice houses. I mean, like these are like 1 mil up houses here in South Jersey. Hopefully they got a lot of work going on because I think they're going to need the profit money. A Long Branch construction contractor with a history of ignoring federal fall safety standards has again been found exposing employees to potentially deadly fall hazards in 8 site inspections from November 2023 to November 2024. My question to this contractor would be this. OSHA shows up one time, they're not going to go out there and tell you, they're not there. They're gonna have closing on. They're gonna show stuff, especially if it's immediate thing. Why would you ignore them? Apparently, why wouldn't you say, "Oh crap, we need to correct this stuff"? Perhaps the contractor. I don't know. I have no idea. Perhaps the contractor was like didn't take things seriously. Maybe they had a foreman in charge. This is usually what I see. That wasn't familiar with OSHA. Maybe they didn't give instructions that, hey, when OSHA shows up, maybe it's a good idea to call someone in charge. If OSHA shows up, maybe they need to go out there and get somebody like me, Safety Wars. any of the other 17 great podcasters on here for some help? I don't know. On Safety FM for some help? I don't know. So let this be a lesson. If OSHA shows up, then you go and you have to have a system in place, and we can help you developing that system. So they showed up between November and March 8 times, and let's go through some of this. And according to the press release, allowing employees to use portable ladders unsafely, exposing employees to silica hazards and failing to train workers to recognize them, allowing the operation of machines without required guards, failing to have HAZCOM and written exposure control programs, and not providing employees with face protection. I mean, really? And that's all I have to say on that. Let's just go into what they are. So this is from November 16th. It's one willful and one serious. When was this issued? 5/14. So, when was the audit? Was November 16th. So, pretty much 6 months. They have 6 months to do it. They went right up to 2 days before it was issued. And let's remember, they are now, in my experience in New Jersey, they're sending things out electronically. They never get anything. The past couple of clients have called me up and said, "Oh crap, OSHA was here yesterday." Blah 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 blah. They issue everything electronically. So here we have the abatement was $7,098. No guarding on equipment. Serious. Moving parts of equipment exposed to contact by employees. So employees were exposed to amputation injuries when operating a portable gasoline-powered air compressor whose pulse start spindle was not guarded. Condition was observed on or about 11/16. Here we have citation to item 1, willful serious, $70,982. And this is workers are exposed to fall hazards in excess of 10 feet. Right? 6 feet is the standard in construction. When working from the top plates of a residential structure's outer wall frames while not using fall protection. $71,000 almost. Here we have November 16th, another one. I'd love to know what the hell happened here with this stuff. So my suspicion is, and so these are both in freehold, OSHA was not on a Bruce Springsteen family home tour. Might have been, I don't think so. I mean, it's the same town, they were driving around town, I don't know, we'll see. Bruce Springsteen was raised in Freehold, New Jersey, for those of you people who are not fans of the Boss. And if you listen to that song, Born in the USA, those are landmarks that are all in New Jersey, many of those things. So, citation item 1A. No HAZCOM program. Worker was exposed to silica using a power saw to cut concrete Belgian block. Concrete and Belgian block contain crystalline silica. $5,000. The employer did not ensure that employee treated in accordance with the provisions of the Hazard Communication Standard Act was 0. Citation item 2. No eye and face protection. $7,098. Citation item 3A. Engineering controls on respirable crystalline silica. $5,000. Citation item 3B. Another respirable crystalline silica, $0 on that one. This one's for $5,071. No written exposure program. So, and here's another one. Construction activities 6 feet or above. Not protected from falling when performing roofing and other related work from residential structures pitched roof.
So here they have here, right? Now this is a meme that was the other day on the internet here. On or about 11/16/2020, workers are not protected from falling when performing roofing and other related work from a residential structure's pitched roof while wearing full body harnesses. Now, we're not connected to anchors with lanterns and other approved means. As such, these workers were exposed to fall hazards in excess of 11 feet 8 inches above the ground surface. And the back, that was only in the front and back. Now we have just the back. Improper anchor, right? Whose one end was connected to the anchor and the other end to a side strap. Again, that was a training issue on that too. That not only was a use issue, that was a training issue. $70,982. My suspicion is that they did not have the right fall protection equipment on. That would have, right? So, fall protection, right? People say, well, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get one with all the D-ring connectors. Guess what? Not always a smart idea, because I tell you what, if the employee can go and connect something to the side rather than the back, guess what? They're connecting it to the side. They don't really give two woofos about that. Just the way it is. Well, Jim, you're blaming the employee. Yeah, you are a little bit. This is what the behavior is. But the thing is, the management has got to point that out and enforce rules. Now, a lot of times these smaller companies, they don't spend the money on training and equipment. And this is what kind of situation. I don't know if that's happened here. Here we have a repeat, one for $14,195. Portable ladders are used for access an upper landing surface, and the ladders ain't allowed. The ladder rails do not extend at least 3 feet or more. So on one of the projects that we are managing here, JCB Technical / Safety Wars, I did something that was strange. You could call it strange, okay? We could call it strange. I ended up going and I said, we have an application here for these ladders, for that where we need a ladder. But I don't think we're going to get a job, we're not going to get a off-the-shelf ladder. So we had a carpenter who was, and I said, hey, dude, my name's not dude. I said, hey, dude, can you go over and make some ladders for us? He said, well, you got to let my foreman know, blah, blah, blah. I let the foreman know. Foreman said, okay, let's make some ladders here. All the perfect height. You're allowed to do a job-made ladder, as long as it meets the OSHA requirements. No problem at all. And I think this is one of the things that is underutilized by a lot of people. No, I don't have the right ladder, so screw it, I'm going to use any ladder. Well, you can't have a job-made ladder. It's not a problem. Do people in safety roles like job-made ladders? No. They don't, because they want to, they're trying to push liability off. God forbid you should be responsible for something. I don't know. You know how it is. So, let's go back. Here. All right. We have another one here. 1 willful, 3 repeat, 4 serious. So this was sometime later, and you would think that maybe, hell, man, OSHA's been here twice. Maybe we should try to do something. But these are serious. This was a different one. Stairways or ladders are not provided at all personnel points of access where there was a break in elevation. And workers were walking and working from a residential structure's second floor were exposed to fall hazards in excess of 10.5 feet. Right? To the flooring below when accessing to and egressing from the residential structure's second floor from the top plate of the structure's exterior wall frame. The break in elevation from this top plate to or from the structure's second floor is greater than 19 inches. Again, now, basic safety. There's a break in 19 inches, you got to have something on there. Now, one of the projects I recently worked on was designed around this law, where all the breaks in elevation were at 18 inches. Now, my question is to this. I made him build stairs. I said, what is the difference when someone falls from 18 inches or 19 inches? Not a whole hell of a lot. So, put in the stairs. Here we have ladders for use for purposes other than purpose they were designed. This is an company worksite foreman were exposed to fall hazards. Again, this is management. Foremen, for the purposes of OSHA, are normally considered management. Worksite foremen were exposed to fall hazards in excess of 4 foot 8 inches on the concrete flooring below when gaining access to or egressing from a residential structure's first floor from its garage using a portable A-frame ladder in the closed position while leaning against the interior wall of the garage. Now, something I want to point out here, right? They do make ladders, A-frame ladders, that can be leaned to. You can use as a lean-to. Or you might have been able to use it in this situation. I don't know. Again, maybe a job-made ladder. Maybe getting an appropriate sized ladder, right? Here we have 1926-1053. The top step of a step ladder was used as a step. So what happens is, with this stuff, is that people go, and it's usually the workers, they either rip off, do not go above this level, or the sticker gets worn out. Because then they say, well, we can plead ignorance with everything. We can be ignorant. We can say, well, we didn't know that you weren't supposed to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And then I pull out to them, hey, you showed an OSHA 30-hour outreach card or 10-hour outreach card to be on this project? Yeah, Jim, we have it. Well, fall protection is like anywhere from 1 hour and 15 minutes to over 3 hours of instruction. They never taught anything about ladders. If you're in New York City, I can tell you, chances are that card is false. Believe me, if you're in New York City or New York State. Why is that? We covered it on the program. Guy who was handing out cards, going to jail. No likelihood. Right? And here we have another one. Ladders, carrying objects of those that can cause the employee to lose balance and fall. Citation 2, item 1, willful, 6-foot fall protection, and it's going on and on and on. 70,982. This is a repeat serious. Nobody was trained by a competent person. 11,524. Citation 3, item 2, repeat serious. 14,195. Citation 3, item 3. No training program on ladders or stairways. So for $133,000 that day proposed. Here we have another one, January 30th. Again, for whatever reason, they continue to do this stuff. And I tell you what, even though they did not get, and what was the date of this letter? 5/14, they did not get the letter they should have known that this was coming. So here we have, going down. Citation item 1, serious, stop step of ladder used as a step. That should have been a repeat, probably. Here we have a repeat serious for 14,195, and this was going on. Right. Workers, and again, why this is a repeat. Standing on the front top step. And they're required to do an abatement certification of 14,195. Here was the total. And here we have Tuckerton Road in Evesham, as we say in South Jersey. This is up without February. Right, so this all happened in February again. It happened in November, and now. And they had to have a closing conference at a certain point here. Or maybe the foreman didn't know how to handle these things. Maybe it was the same foreman. Hey, these people keep showing up and keep giving us issues.
Well, maybe you should fix them. I don't know. Citation with item 1. The employer did not ensure that each powered industrial truck is competent to operate one. Again, this was a Class 7, aka LUL, right, all-terrain lift. I believe that's a Terex all-terrain lift is a four-wheel drive lift. No training, $7,098. Here we have, they did not, the industrial truck, improper, right? The industrial truck in use did not meet the applicable requirements of design, construction, stability, inspection, test, maintenance, and operation as defined by ANSI V56.1, 1969. Just improper use of this thing, leaving the thing unattended, and many things, right? Improper use. 7190. And this is all citation 1, item 2. Willful serious, no eye or face protection, allegedly. While using pneumatic nailers, here, $61,000 proposed penalty, citation 2, item 2. No hard hat, $70,982. This was out of the fall protection standard. So when employees were exposed to falling objects, the employer did not require employees to wear hard hats and not implement measures to prevent objects from falling. So now, just because you even put in engineering controls of some sort or a elimination control does not necessarily negate the requirement of wearing a hard hat. That's the lesson. Right? How much was that? $71,000 almost. And here we have fall protection, 6 foot or higher. Another $14,195. And citation 3, item 2, another repeat. No training by a competent person, $11,500. Now, in defense here of the contractor, the people probably were not told this, and they didn't enforce rules. Here we have one in Rumson. One willful violation on the February 29th. Right? Not their day for them, the 29th. Let's see what they got here. This was citation item 1, willful fall protection, 6 foot or higher. $71,000 almost. 2 willful, 1 serious, and Mullica Hill. I like Mullica Hill. Nice town. Right? I went to college down there, so I know a lot about this stuff. Here we have 1926-602 industrial truck in use to not meet applicable standards of design. Powered industrial truck. Again, the use of it. Just the use of it. 3,042. Typo citation 2, item 1. Eye and face protection, $60,840. And here we have the last one was fall protection. I don't know. At what point do you say, at what point? I don't get. At what point do you say, hey, we got a problem here? No, there's a backstory to this. Here, and I'd love to know the backstory. Because the words go way out of context. I want to know the context of this. This is the end result, but what led up to this? Again, using a ladder improperly, $7,100. And fall protection issues, willful serious, $17,982. Citation 3, item 1. No training program for ladders, $11,524. I don't know. I don't know. I'm shocked on a certain level here. I truly am shocked. I don't know. So if you're in this organization, give us a call, 845-269-5772. We can help you out. The other issue is this. Let's say that you are a safety professional. You're a safety professional. You're on a job, and where this crap happens all the time. What do you do? How do you handle it? We're in similar issues. I have similar issues almost everywhere where I go. Right, I was on the phone with on one of our projects where a situation came up several days ago, and they handled it in a certain way. It was like, why? Why did you do that? We laid out a system for you to manage this that's going to be most beneficial to the employee and most beneficial to the employer and everybody else. And you regress back into, you have to ask, what the hell's going on? Again, nothing I can do about it. It's documented, it's communicated, and everything else. And of course, I am not the competent person here. The people that are safety professionals are not the competent persons and persons in charge. So we're very limited on what we could do. So you don't want to end up like Alec Baldwin's armorer on the set of Rust, who pointed out issues and didn't follow up on them, and then now ended up 18 months in jail, potentially. I don't know if it's on appeal or not. We were going to talk about that case. Many safety people got tired of dealing with situations like this, whether it be on an environmental cleanup, a disaster site, in general industry and construction, maritime. They just said, look, can't deal with this anymore. And often it's the case where the employees of the client rejoice, oh, thank God we got rid of that pain in the ass safety guy. That pain in the ass. And then what ends up happening? Someone gets hurt. It's happened too many times for me on these projects. Jim, oh, thank God, no, you get removed from the job. Because you're a third party, it's really hard to have a whistleblower situation. And then they go out there, and that's it. They get hurt. My friend Andy was on a job, got thrown off the job for enforcing fall protection requirements. 6 weeks to the day later, somebody fell to their death, 93 feet. Called up Andy. I was on the accident investigation team, and I said, Andy, what, you have any input here? He says, Jimmy, I told them. They threw me off the job for being diligent in doing my job. Luckily, my employer put me on another job. I didn't lose any money in the Federal Whistleblower Act case here. However, we have a guy who was well-liked that died. His name was Tommy. And died in August 2007, I believe it is. 17 years, hard to believe. Was the company held liable? No, the company wasn't held liable. The general contractor, one, because it's New Jersey, and number two, they were able to demonstrate that they were enforcing rules. So what do you do? What do any of us do? Figure out how you're going to handle this. Are you going to say, hey, I'm going to stay here? The company wasn't held liable, the general contractor. Am I going to stay involved here? Am I not going to stay involved here? What am I going to do? I don't know. Just something that you need to consider here. Let's go to our last commercial break here, and we'll go from there.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Posel, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now, he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all. With his engaging storytelling and expert analysis, Safety Wars isn't just a podcast. It's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Polzel and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
You are listening to Safety Wars. Tomorrow's Safety Today.
All right, we have a company here in Houston, Texas. Our last story for the night, and here. Hold on. All right. A federal administrative law judge has upheld the Department of Labor's finding that a Houston crane and rigging services provider violated federal law by firing a company truck driver on June 5, 2020 for refusing to exceed safe driving limits set by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. An investigation by the department's OSHA determined that the driver employed by a company told their employer that after working 19 hours on June 4, 2020, it would be unsafe for them to operate a commercial vehicle as they had not gotten the legally required amount of time off before returning to work. The Houston company responded by terminating the employer. You can't make this Guvino up. I mean, I don't know. Congress enacted the world's first whistleblower practices, 1778, to ensure that people who come forward to report illegal behaviors or actions don't suffer for what's doing right. I didn't know that. In this case, the company was held accountable for retaliating against an employee who acted responsibly by raising their concerns about endangering themselves and others by operating commercial vehicles. So, on May 13th of this year, the judge issued a decision. It's that decision. Yeah, here it is. Rather extensive, 21 pages. So this is, I always find these things here, right? The finding of fact here is important. This is the whole case. And applicable laws. Conclusion. The contested protected activity in this matter is refusing to operate a vehicle in violation of a regulation or standard related to safety, health, or security. Under the employee protections of such and such law, a person may not discharge an employee or discipline or discriminate against an employee regarding pay, terms, or privileges of employment when the employee refuses to operate a vehicle because it's in violation of the law. Comparison of the complainant's driver log to the witness testimony, complainant's time card, instructs GPS, and complainant's pay stub demonstrates an inconsistency in determining how many hours the complainant worked on Thursday, June 4th. Complainant's daily driver log does not match either his time card or GPS data. Right? And anyway, again, keep that paperwork accurate. Here, the judge believed him. Is basically what it came down to based on testimony and everything else. But you got to keep your paperwork straight. So here we are. We've come to the end of our Friday program. We're going to say goodnight, and let's see if we can get, again, new program here, large learning curve here. Let's see if we can get this thing to work right. I hope to see everybody here next week.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.